down. Woj reporting that OG has finally been traded from the Raptors to the Knicks. It was amazing because we have this lawsuit with James Dolan and MSG right now that we actually traded with the Knicks actually finally. This is a blockbuster deal. This is a big deal. And a lot of people are reacting to it very quickly and they're caught off guard. I knew that today something was going to happen. This December 30th trade deadline, or this deadline for Siakam's contract, may be a part of this whole thing. The deal is OG and Precious are going to the New York Knicks for RJ Barrett of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and Emmanuel Quickley and a second round pick. I think that this is crazy because just a couple days ago on our stream, this came up. We were talking to Mo Bester, Knicks fan, and also talking to just general people in here. And I was saying, wow, I don't think we'll deal with the Knicks because of the lawsuit. But boy, was I wrong. It happened. And now we got RJ Barrett coming home to Canada. Bronze medal winning RJ Barrett of our national team of Canada, reunited with Canada, coming home to be a hometown hero. Now I'm wondering about his connections with Scott from in the past. Of course, we want him to have chemistry with Scotty Barnes and be able to play with him. There's some things about RJ that are really good. In some ways, it's a lateral trade with OG for RJ. I feel like that's pretty commiserate and equal in some ways. And then also, the thing about it is RJ has a bit of a clutch factor to him. In some ways, he wasn't totally clutch. He is a pretty clutch player. In some ways, I see a lot of parallels to RJ as a slightly taller DeMar DeRozan. There's a couple different things that he does as a player that are really, really good. So I'm excited about this. I'd like to see RJ as soon as possible. I don't. It's probably not likely we'll see him for Detroit today. More likely we'll see him first for the New Year's Day game against Cleveland. But this is huge. A lot of people didn't ever think that we would ever trade OG Anunoby. There was always talking about it all this times. Woj dropping the bomb. Shams a second behind, and everybody's letting Shams know it. General NBA fan sentiment around the league right now is that the Raptors won the trade. Some New York fans are kind of 50-50. They feel like they fleeced us because they finally got OG. And they did get Precious. That's the other part of this we need to talk about. Precious is now a New York Knick also. Precious going home to where he grew up in New York City. So this is good for him in some ways. I don't like the fact that we just lost two of our very best five-position defenders, Scotty being the third one. It's like OG and Precious kind of are both exemplary defenders at five positions. We'll have to find out what Mobester feels about like this. I don't know if y'all are in the chat. I'm not reading the chat or doing the comments for this. It's just going to be purely my take on the OG trade that just went down this morning. Bobby Webster, Masai Ujiri doing something, saying something, getting something done, and making Raptors fans go, wow. And this is a big wow. The homecoming of RJ Barrett to Toronto to play for the Toronto Raptors is going to be very interesting. And Emmanuel Quickley, let's talk about him for a sec. This is the backup point guard that we were hoping for, maybe even the starter. I could see after a game like last night for Trent, that maybe we should start RJ and Quickley when he comes in. And that RJ is like Tyrese Maxey. Now we have a very quick I'm just going to say point guard. We have a very quick point guard that's very good with his offense himself. He's very, very quick. And we'll have to see. Maybe he's going to be competing. It'll be interesting to see how Darko uses him in contrast to Dennis and Gary. It'll be interesting to see what value he brings to us. I'm sure that in some ways it'll be a welcome addition on defense with feistiness. The other thing about Quickley is he has a little bit of that dog in him that we may be lacking. I mean, as far as he's a get up and go guy, and he's really, really trying his ass off all the time. In fact, in some ways, the Knicks fans may be more upset about losing Emmanuel than RJ. In some ways, RJ's frustrating to them. He's a mixed bag with his success and how he plays and whether he's successful in offense. So he's been a little bit of a lightning rod in Knicks Nation for a few years now. So it's going to be interesting to see. I want to see RJ be a very interesting role with us. He doesn't have to be so primary, which is interesting, especially with Siakam and Barnes being there. Maybe as the 1 and 2. RJ gets to be the third banana to a degree. And in some ways, he's been the second banana to Julius Randle in New York. So maybe without so much pressure on him to play offense at a high level, we may see him flourish in other ways, like maybe develop a little bit better on the defensive end in some ways. This is a little reminiscent of FIBA, Team Canada. is that RJ had to defer to SGA and other people around him that could play very well. He's usually the second banana on that team, but Dylan Brooks would step up and be the second banana. He'd be the third banana sometimes for a FIBA. So it's going to be interesting to see where he fits into the hierarchy as far as with Scott and Siakam. But yeah, I want to make sure. I hope that Scotty and RJ have a relationship already. I hope that these guys have come across each other in different ways and they have something where they can have already somewhere to start with. But I do like the compete factor in both those guys. These guys do have a bit of like clutch in both of them, and they really do kind of help us in a couple ways. I think this is a good trade for both teams. The Knicks are going to be a much better defensive team now, for sure. And yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. So there you go, Milbester. We did a trade with your team after all. And you got a new nickname, OG Anunoby and Precious Achua, your new New York Knicks. Welcome home, Precious, and welcome home, RJ. RJ coming back to the Great White North. Our Canadian content quotient has gone up once again. That RJ Barrett has joined our team. I'm really happy about this trade. I think this was one that we kind of predicted earlier this week, and well, it kind of happened to the T. The Precious part was the X factor I didn't see coming. But quickly, and I did say Barrett. I said, well, we could take quickly for somebody, but I want RJ too. I guess Masai maybe was listening to us. All right, y'all, let's get ready for some action. There's still 2 games to go today. We got the 9:05 playing at 2 o'clock against Wisconsin Herd at the Paramount Fine Food Center in Mississauga. So tune into that very soon. We got this big trade buzzing around Raptors Nation now. And then later tonight, of course, a very important Pistons game that we don't need this news to distract from us. Now, this is going to be interesting if we're not going to have those 2 guys and the other 2 guys haven't shown up yet. This could be an interesting game tonight. So the Raptors need to be very careful with these Pistons. Once again, this is a venomous snake. You need to handle it with very, very, very much care. And y'all need to just take care of business. Don't mess around. Don't slum it. Go in there and do the best you can because you don't want to be a part of history that you ended the Detroit Pistons streak. All right, y'all. I see all y'all's comments. I'm going to read them afterwards. I'm not going to read them now. I apologize, guys. It's just a quick reaction real quick because this is monumental news. This is something that we've been talking about for years, literally on this channel, and now it has finally come. Bobby Webster makes a move. OG Anunoby traded to the Knicks for RJ Barrett. It's OG and Precious to the Knicks. RJ and Manuel Quickley are Raptors now, y'all. And we got a second-round pick also, y'all. I see all y'all are going crazy in there. I'm going to read y'all's comments after this. All right, y'all. Let's go Raptors. Let's get the double win today on the day that we got RJ Barrett in a Raptors red jersey coming to our city, back home. You're coming home, RJ. We love you. We love you, Rowan Barrett Jr. You're coming home to Daddy and the rest of the country, and we're coming home, and you're going to win a lot of games for us. You're going to be the new Captain Canada. That's right. Captain Canada's coming home, baby. All right, let's go Raptors! Woo!